firing first. I think we'll do a 4-3-2-2.
Hi, I'm here too.
Yeah, J Mats and Geo from GenerationD20.com bringing you.
Draft diary something.
Yeah.
Do you number these, or is it just like a date?
A date.
Do you date the date that it is, or the date that you post it?
Actually, there's a little bit of an issue with that because it's kind of confusing. I am using both dates and not real clear on it. Okay.
So, are you going to swing for the fences and just go over the Spirit Mantle out of the first pack, John?
I actually am going to go for the Spirit Mantle out of the first pack.
Even though that means leaving behind a...
The Incinerate and the Pacifism are the safe bets, but Spirit Mantle on a Sacred Wolf
is pimp.
Yeah, it just can be game over so quickly, and it's uncommon, and the other ones are common. So
absolutely. Not that you'll ever see another Incinerate.
Yeah.
You'll see lots of pacifisms, but never another Incinerate.
Yeah, that's not making it past Fables or Freaky 1083 or whoever is sitting next to us. Also, you don't know. It always
Sarah Angel.
Yeah, that would be my choice. We could have an Incinerate and a Shock at this point. Out of this pack, the Griffin Rider has a fair chance of tabling because I'd say someone's going to take the Dragon, the Fire Slinger, probably Ponder, Gravedigger, Shock, and then some of those other cards are questionable, but one of those two could very well get back to us. But I think the Sarah Angel is...
Tend to agree.
What we want. And here is kind of trying to decide. I mean, Spirit Mantle might decide on its own for us that we wanted to pair it with green, but if we don't see Sacred Wolves, it's not going to do us a lot of good. And
you can put them on the little tiny elf. It'll take forever. But...
Right. Or we could put it on the hexproof flying Aven guy if we paired it with blue. At this point,
I would say either Garrick's Companion or the Trollhide.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well. Garrick's Companion, unless we're going very heavy green, it can be kind of tricky because you don't get him out on the turn 2.
Sure.
Always. I'm kind of thinking Trollhide.
All right.
That probably would go a little bit later, but... Whoops. Hopefully I didn't just click on something else. Okay, here... Arachnus Web. The thing I like most about Arachnus Web is the major difference between it and Ice Cage, which is it's destroyed at end of turn during the end step instead of
when it happens. Sure.
So you don't end up with you attack in the Titanic Growth block and you're dead. This one's kind of a tough choice. Arbalest Elite can be pretty effective.
If we're going to be playing green, green is really weak in the 4 slot.
True. Both of those green cards I would like.
Of course, Llanowar Slingshot you pass needing a 4 slot.
True. But Elite is repeat removal.
And it's slow.
Yeah. And it definitely makes combat tricky for another player. So,
fair enough.
Knowing that we are going to be playing white and a fair amount.
Probably another Arachnus Web.
I would agree. Now we just need that spinner where you can tap it.
Just suck them out of your deck.
Yeah. Here, there could be the argument for Divine Favor. Because the 3 life can actually be relevant.
Sure, and +1 force is +1 force, and +3...
Right, and if you're putting it on a Sacred Wolf...
It's a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Then he's a 4/4, which, even if he doesn't have the Spirit Mantle for evasion...
At least it takes a little more to get rid of it.
Yeah. Siege Mastodon probably is just not going to make the deck. Divine Favor probably won't either, but I think it has a better chance.
I would agree.
And out of this...
Circle of Flames.
Lurking Crocodile?
No, Lurking Crocodile sucks.
Circle of Flames. Okay. So Lurking Crocodile, like I said.
Oh, man.
A lot of people will be playing blue.
That's fine. All I know is that if you start taking circles of flames,
right.
even if all you do is splash and you get like 4 of them, which I've seen, well, if you get all 4 out, all of a sudden your opponent really hates to attack.
Right, they just can't do it profitably. That's true. Here, right now, our deck is looking a little bit slower, so Basilisk might be better than Crocodile.
Fair enough.
If we can get some aggressive early drops.
Ponder, Garrick's Companion, or Titanic Growth.
Right.
I would probably go with the Titanic Growth. Although...
yeah, I can see that. Companion, it almost has to be a mono, not quite mono green deck, but like a green deck where you have 3 red spells in it for me to really want to go with that. Because he becomes if he's not attacking turn 3, he becomes basically a Runeclaw Bear. You know.
Well, yeah, but he's +1 force and trample.
Right, which can be relevant. Demystify is great to pick up late. There are not that many ways to destroy enchantments, and auras are kind of
Hey, what?
the big thing.
Somebody liked the land.
Yep.
They were like, fuck fog. What is this? No.
And they weren't wrong.
Hey, a Cudgel Troll. Or a Flame Blast Dragon.
Right. This is where our deck is going to have to take a huge departure. I don't think we can pass a repeat fireball attached to a creature.
I would tend to agree.
Oh,
hold on. Let me check. Nope. Not fighting ya.
Yeah, so that's going to either mean we have to aggressively get some mana fixing.
Gideon's Avenger?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one before.
Anytime one of their creatures taps, he gets a +1 counter.
Huh. That sounds pretty buff.
Yeah, he can be really sweet.
Or another Spirit Mantle.
Jade Mage is really sweet, and Spirit Mantle. We didn't see a single Sacred Wolf, which kind of surprises me there. But, I wish I knew.
Take the Spirit Mantle. Trust your heart.
And here, then, it's got to be Stinger Fling Spider. I like Swiftfoot Boots a lot, because you can...
Well, the nice thing about that is that makes your combo happen with any creature you want.
Yes, that is absolutely true. That being said, destroying a flyer when it comes into play, that's tough.
Absolutely.
I think the problem with it is it makes it into a 3-card. Like, you have to have a creature and the boots and the mantle. Whereas with the mantle and the wolf, you only have to have 2 cards.
We could also take Shock.
Yeah. Shock would definitely be good also.
But a 2/5 reach creature is probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, and destroying something with flying almost always is going to be relevant.
Hey, look, Lure.
Yep, Lure can be pretty good.
We got a Greater Basilisk.
The Griffin Sentinel could be pretty good.
Greater Basilisk plus Lure equals everything dies.
Well, only the things it can deal damage to. So 3 things would die.
Really?
Yeah. It's not like the old Basilisk where it blocks. It's the new one where it has to deal damage.
Aw, man, weak.
Yeah. Which is kind of why I would think Griffin, because we might pick up Griffin Riders.
Yeah, sure.
I still am not completely in on the Flame Blast Dragon, and there's probably someone out there who...
Going, why? Why haven't you gone mono red already?
Right.
So we're taking the Sacred Wolf.
We're taking the Sacred Wolf. When you double Spirit Mantle, when you pick Spirit Mantle over a Pacifism and over whatever
and
else,
another one, right?
then you're taking every Sacred Wolf you can find. Stave off. I have no problem picking that. And once again, it maybe the Unsummon. Just because if we were putting these Spirit Mantles on something that doesn't have Hexproof,
Sure.
then Bounce is one of the biggest threats to destroy it.
Giant Spider.
Yep. Giant Spider, very happy to get that. Especially since our 4 drops, like you said,
It just is. Green does not have a lot of them. In fact, they seem to be kind of uncommon, period.
Yeah. And there are some good ones. I mean, Cudgel Troll is...
Oh, absolutely. But it's uncommon.
Yep.
So...
Yeah. Maybe if we get...
This is going to be just like that other time, John, where you didn't play the Jace, right?
Yeah. No, every
people
time...
are like, yes, you're fucking retard. But I can't...
Here...
Glade Cover Scout?
Technically, yes. I don't think it'll ever make the deck. Because we're at 20 cards.
You'd rather slit your wrist than... We only have 12 creatures.
Right. I'd rather take...
Go ahead.
That guy who would be blocking some of our
I would
creatures.
probably say either Titanic Growth or the Armored Warhorse.
Yeah.
Although we are not... We have done a pretty good job of keeping most of our white that's low cost 1.
To 1. So yeah, I'd say Titanic Growth and... just because we don't want them to gain 3 life if they block. None of those cards are going to see play. Except we're in a 4-3-2-2, so they may see play. Alluring Siren, why not? And we got the Siege Mastodon after all. And with a pack to go, I'm not too worried about where we're at for creatures. Even cutting...
Cutting 3/4 of them?
These ones, which I know won't make it, and the Flame Blast, which might not. Vastwood Gorger might not.
Wait, you got a problem with the Runeclaw Bears?
I didn't want to bring it up earlier, but I do. I have a very big beef. Overrun wins games.
All right.
Or,
it can't.
Or loses games because you didn't take Overrun and your opponent did.
Sure.
And like you said, you made a great point. Our early green card or white cards are only 1 casting cost or 1 white, and so we're not overcommitting there. Best card here is probably Chandra's Outrage with a little tip to Goblin Grenade if you actually are playing goblins.
Otherwise, this Griffin
Rider, we only have 1 Griffin, but we have a lot of cards to go.
Sure. I guess it'd probably either be Griffin Rider or just take Chandra's Outrage, but it is a 2-red.
Right.
Which is Circle of Flame. See, we could have had 2 by now.
That's true. And then I guess there could be the argument for Greatsword on your Sacred Wolf, who has...
who has a Spirit Mantle.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Griffin Rider.
All right.
Even if we got 2 more Griffins, we have no 2-drop creatures right now. So basically, we're just conceding the board until turn 3.
We want to keep our eyes out for timely reinforcements or whatever that card is.
Oh yes, that card screws me so often. I mean, it screws whoever
doesn't take it. Like, oh, I've taken a little bit of damage and I have fewer creatures. Hey, how you doing?
Yep. Now I have 3/1/1s, which will block forever. And I hate the Bell Tower Sphinx.
What's it do?
hate playing against it. It mills damage, and it's a 2/5, so it just stops a lot of flying creatures. Alabaster Mage would be a 2-drop.
Sure.
Which could also buy us some time. And this guy is
so he's one of those creatures where if Proliferate existed, would be sick.
If the game goes late, he's huge because he puts out a token, blocks, sacrifices it to put him back on, and you can just stop him. We are hoping our game does not go late, so I think we go Alabaster Mage.
All right.
And I think... And there's that Rampant Growth.
I think we take the Rampant Growth.
I think so too. because we kind of need to. It would be something to do on turn 2, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Crown of Empires would be also a possibility.
If you can get all of them, it's pretty sweet.
And even without it, this one's the tapping one, which is kind of the most relevant.
Sure.
But let's go with Rampant Growth, in case foolishly we still decide to play the Flame Blast Dragon.
Pacifism?
Yep. Azure Mage this late is kind of interesting, because that means, what are we at? 11 cards, 4 people past the card drawing guy. Llanowar Elves is also sorely tempting, because that could be turn 1 Llanowar Elves, turn 2 Sacred Wolf.
Sure.
But what do we have for...
You know, honestly, with what I'm seeing, take the Llanowar Elves.
Yeah?
We really are a deeper... I think...
It's good enough once. Do it twice.
The only other one would have been a Stonehorn Dignitary Sacred Wolf.
Yep.
Just because it is a 4-drop. Fill out our 4 slot a little bit more.
Right. And here, the most...
I won't make the same argument for Angel's Mercy.
Most annoying creature, if we don't have Spirit Mantle, would be this guy, because he can block again and again. We're going to have things that we could cast on that.
Sure.
So I would say take the...
Make it into a 9/9 non-existent creature.
Another Titanic Growth.
Yeah.
Since we're just going all in on the aggro, have absolutely no late game whatsoever.
Bastard Gorger. Third Circle of Flame. Or it's probably the same Circle of Flame. But
I'm going to take it because, honestly, one of the only ways that a Spirit-Mantled Sacred Wolf dies is to
that.
Multiple Circles of Flame. Don't want him having a 2/2 out there early. Well,
Ponder? Or do you want the Stampeding Rhino?
It might make the deck.
Alright.
It probably... I don't know. I haven't been eliminating stuff. But yeah, it's right up there with Greater Basilisk for depending on what our deck is doing.
Sure. Nothing. Our deck does nothing.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get another Griffin, so Griffin Rider is gone for sure.
A Phantasmagoric Bear.
Huh.
And there's our deck.
Yeah. It's a lot of Titanic Growth. Probably don't need the Divine Favor. Maybe. Maybe.
Quite a few Sacred Wolves, though.
Yeah. Oh my gentle Jesus.
Really? A pacifism that late?
Is that the one we passed?
It must be.
Yeah, that was the only one we saw.
Like, apparently they were like, I don't like the picture. I'm not taking it.
I really don't see it fitting in anyone's deck.
Yeah, anyone who takes this is a moron.
Yeah.
I won't even take this just to prevent it from being used on me later.
Right? Yeah, no. Easily at that point.
It was like, what was in the deck ahead of this that you were like, oh, that'd be a bigger problem for me?
That is unbelievable. Okay, so we have Sarah Angel, Arbalist Elite, probably Griffin Sentinel. I'll kind of put him in yes for sure's and maybes. Pacifism, Divine Favor, maybe. I think we want the Alabaster Mage. Probably the Stave Off.
Yeah.
It just has a lot of uses. If they pacify you.
Yeah.
If they target you with anything. Overrun, Stinger Flang, Giant Spider, Sacred Wolf, Sacred Wolf, Sacred Wolf. Because we have that many, we probably do want the Troll Hide.
Sure.
Arachnus Webs, Llanowar Elves. That puts us at 11 creatures with 3 cards to go. The Titanic Growths are maybes. The Rampant Growth would be a maybe. For creatures, all of these guys could be maybes. And if we're stupid.
There, I think we're good. We just played a 12 land and call it a day.
The good about taking Flame Blast Dragon.
Is that it's not coming at us?
Well, no. Great picking it, yes. The good about including it in our deck,
Mm-hmm.
or the one thing, I mean, you'd probably have to have at least 3 mountains. One of which you're finding on your own, and one of which you're either finding on your own or rampant growthing for.
Sure.
But it's going to be at least turn 6, turn 7, so you will have added 7 cards plus the 6 that you've drawn, so you're 13 cards in out of 40. You've seen 30% of your deck,
Sure.
somewhere around there. However, including 3 mountains might mean turn 1 we can't cast our Land of War Elf.
Yep.
So I think we have to cut it.
Unfortunately, as awesome as it is, there is a very good chance, because we did not draft red, not
Yeah.
knowing it was going to be there, that it could be a giant red turd sitting in our hand doing nothing.
Yep.
Where even a Glade Cover Scout would have been better.
You're absolutely right.
I guess you could discard it, but you could also discard the elf. Except you would have played the elf.
Yeah. So, how many creatures is our bare minimum? If it's 14, then we need to get rid of 4 spells,
All right. Let's see.
which would probably either be just give up on Titanic Growths and the Divine Favor.
Well, definitely the Divine Favor.
Right. I would completely agree with you there. The Titanic Growth could, like, a Sacred Wolf plus a Spirit Mantle puts them on a 5-turn clock. A Titanic Growth reduces it by another turn.
Right. How about we leave in 1 Titanic Growth,
Okay.
play a 24-card deck because we have 2 Land of War Elves and a Rampant Growth.
Okay. And our curve,
Has the exact dip that I always see whenever I do the drafting. It's really good, and then 4.
right.
And then, but whatever, because we have 2 Land of War Elves, so.
Yep. So we're hoping to go 1 to 3, then back to 2, and see you later.
Maybe Rampant Growth on the same turn, and
So if we add land, it's going to suggest 10-6. That's probably not too bad. Maybe
7-9.
maybe 7-9. We definitely want
We
it to be more likely to have a forest than a plains, but I think not having a plains to cast Spirit Mantle could
Would
also
suck.
hurt us. So I think that
All right.
looks good. Okay. Come along with us to find out whether we know anything,
About Magic, the Gathering.
or just in general.
Oh, we definitely know some things.
Now we have to